welcome this month's RC Racing. Well, it's freezing cold, we're in a shed, it must be the Neo, but no, we're at the DAC 12, a large-scale off-road event we're showing later in the series. But I'm sure that Ollie must be somewhere warm. Where is he?
Hello and welcome to Power. We're here in the south of France for the final event on the 2011 EFRA calendar. It's the week-long electric off-road Euros. Defending double European champion Lee Martin. Lee, it was a fantastic year for you last year, and the last 12 months in fact, so winning 2 European titles, some great results in the British National Series, a win at the World's warm-up and 2 World's A finals as well. Pretty good year really.
Yeah, it's been great so far. Hopefully I'll cap it off with something this week as well.
And you confident coming to this weekend's race?
Yeah, this year's been, as you say, it's been going pretty good, and my stuff's feeling really good so far. Had a bit of a bad run in the last one, but I'm looking to arrange that and sort it out for the next one.
And who are you thinking going to be the main challengers for you this year?
To be honest, I think it's probably going to be Neil. In practice, we were both really fast, and most of the time we were on a par. So if nothing goes wrong, I think it's going to be a straight-up heads-up with him.
There then is the poleman, Neil Cragg from Great Britain on the Associated, his countryman, the defending European champion, Lee Martin in second place on the Tamiya. Jon Neumann has position 3, the German on the Durango then, making it 3 Brits in the top 4. Paul Bradbury, Hupo Honigel is in 5, and in 6, Ellis Stafford. That's another Brit there, we're doing rather well at the front of the grid. 7 is Rennie Trauner, and 8, Antoine Rossetti. Martin Creel is in 9th, and Peter Pinish brings up the end of the grid in 10th. So important to get off the line well, and the poleman does that with Lee Martin looking good in second place, but the top 3 then streaming away, everybody pretty much in grid order as they head. Notice the difference on the... Oh, there's the lead man getting a little touch there and goes back down into 3rd position. I was just about to tell you about the difference in the surfaces here. As you can see, going from dirt onto, well, what looks like AstroTurf. It's rather like a carpet substance. Very, very different handling characteristics, especially for these 2-wheel drive cars. Might have noticed on the grid walk how they have different tyres on the front and the back. That's all down to the fact that those front tyres are just steering. The back ones have to provide all the motive power. Now, that's a pretty decent lead as the battle is on for second place at the moment, and it is Lee Martin that leads, defending European champion, and he's showing all his class here as he comes round onto the infield, fast part of the circuit. Look at him streaking away at the moment, and look how controlled he is. There's the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and that looks like Neil Cragg is coming back through, and indeed has done, reclaimed his 2nd position. He'll be kicking himself for losing that. There it is, the number 1 buggy back into 2nd place, and there's a slight mistake by the 2nd place car there, and that has pushed him back. That was the number 4 car of Jon Neumann, who goes back a position there. Neil Cragg must be kicking himself. That Associate has been looking pretty good in the practice and qualifying, but he threw away the advantage from the pole position, and now he's in full chase mode, and that is the battle. There's the leader. Look at that is in fact Cragg's car. There is the leader, rather similar colours, my apologies. So that is the 2nd place car. You saw the marshal getting rather excited as we were in the commentary box there, as he thought he might have to intervene, but Neil managed to hold on to it. The battle now really is for 3rd and 4th position, as Neil just begins to pull away from this little battle behind them. Remind you, it's 3 heats, the best 2 results that count. So getting a good start is always important, and getting those early points in the bag, really, you can't put a price on that, to be honest. And there is our leader, Lee Martin. We know all about this man. Has got the big game mentality. He's pulled it out of the hat before. That's why he is the defending European champion. And look at him, nice and smooth, not trying to be too clever over those whoops, which have cost, well, dearly many drivers this weekend. You can't treble those. Doubling is okay. It's very, very dangerous to try and treble them, because if you land short, it throws the buggy right off, and you're in danger of losing ground. which is not what our leader is doing, is it? Because he's stretched that lead. Oh, there's the answer. New second place driver from grid 4, Paul Bradby, in the mainly white buggy, has gone through, and that relegates our pole man back down to third position. Neil Cragg has had another problem. Just when I thought he was getting things together, trying to put some pressure maybe on the leader and just dropping back. That's the problem, isn't it? You try a bit too hard. Everything's at stake here in these early heats. And so a 1-2-3 for the UK, and with, I think, Paul Bradby just pulling away now from Cragg in second. Don't forget our leader is Lee Martin, the defending European champion. Oh, and that's a mistake. And was that a slightly heavy landing for our second place driver? There's our leader. This is a cracking run from Lee Martin, coming round on the last 2/3 of a lap, and in second place it'll be Paul. It's not Paul Bradby. It's not Paul Bradby. Paul has had a problem, and it looks to me like Neil Cragg is going to come through in second place. Now, these warm applause there. Yes, that is the number 1, Paul Sitter, coming through in second. That'll elevate Hubert Honigel to third. Confirmation then of the result of the first heat, with Lee Martin taking it from Neil Cragg and Hubert Honigel, and Paul Bradby losing it with just a couple of laps to go with a mechanical problem. Well, the pole sitter, Neil Cragg, needs not just to get off the line, but to hold on to the first lap as Bradby tries to come round the outside from fourth, but doesn't get it done. He drops back into his grid slot. In fact, he's lost a couple of places, but the pole man has done it this time. Oh, what am I seeing? Clatters into the whoops there and goes down into second as Lee Martin takes the lead. And once again, the pole man finds himself having to battle at the head when he should really be settling down and try. Let's have a look. Yes, he just tried to go too far there, hit the upslope of the next whoops, was lucky not to cede second place as well, to be honest. But now back with the leaders, and these two are having a cracking battle. Got to make sure there's no contact here. Yes, oh, that was again just trying too hard through the whoops. Neil Cragg has not learned. He just hasn't got the meter, if you like, the momentum or the rhythm of those whoops in the middle of the course. You try too hard, you suffer. You don't be aggressive enough, and you suffer. And that has happened to him on almost successive laps now, isn't it? And he's now going to have to try and defend from the third place driver, who is the number 3 of Jorn Neumann on the Durango. And here he comes again. This is a battle for the lead. Now that's better. That's how to do it. Why can't he do that every lap? He's suffering a bit from lack of consistency at the moment, but there was the aggression we were talking about earlier. Controlled aggression, though, that takes Neil Cragg, the pole sitter, back to the lead of this second heat, and that's where he needs to be to keep his championship hopes alive after that rather disappointing run in the first, where he was really lucky to get back to second position when Bradby broke down with just, a couple of circuits to go, and now he's really stretching away, with in second place Lee Martin and Jorn Neumann beginning to battle. And as we always say in motor racing, doesn't matter what the size of the vehicles are, if you start to battle, then it does cost you time. Now, can Lee challenge? He's closed up just a little bit on the leader. For the moment, Jorn Neumann has just dropped away, and again at the same point on the circuit. What is it about that? There's a little nibble there from Lee in second place on Neil, but Neil just hasn't got it, has he? I don't know what he's thinking of there, because quite clearly he can do it as he pops the wheelie. Plenty of grip on the far side of the circuit there. Remember, just the rear wheels driving in this particular formula. He just hasn't got it now. Here's the danger area, we've got to say that now. And this time he cleans it perfectly. And he is actually quite quick through the following 2 corners, as you can see there. But he really needs to keep the concentration going through that middle whoops. Very quick through here. Clearly got the setup. And look at that. The drive through the back end. And again, lots of grip there. Almost a little bit too much on the sticks as he's trying to push really hard. He knows he's in a fight here with Cragg in second place and Jorn Neumann still hanging on there in third. He's got to think he's in with a chance here with these two battling so hard. And And the leading trio now are absolutely together. Marshall's nice and close there. Just in case anything goes wrong at the leading bunch, they'll jump in and make sure they lose as little time as possible. Well, I'm not sure what Neil Cragg has done with that Associated, but it is clearly got the punch out of the corners, the LRP motor. And again, at his danger area, makes a bit of a mistake, but he's held onto the lead this time, and he does seem to have the grip and the torque. And your Norman's gone from third. Just got a quick snatch there of the Marshall going in to intervene, and that's left the leading two out on their own. The German has gone from this battle, so it's the two Brits, and Cragg has got to be out there to keep his hopes of the championship alive here. This again is the danger area, and this time, is it every other lap? Does he just not like the odd-numbered ones? I'm not sure. But he's got the grip, hasn't he? And I've got to say that Lee Martin has not been able to challenge on pure pace. Through again this area, Neil and the Associated is absolutely invincible, and behind, in fact, there's a mistake from the second place driver. Oh, and as I say that, the leader goes across the line and finishes, but he's on his roof. There's all kinds of shenanigans here. That's Bradbury, I think, coming through into second place because there was a mistake on the very last lap by Lee Martin. My goodness me. Action of plenty on that final half lap that sees this result throwing the whole competition wide open. Cragg from Bradbury from Martin, Jon Neumann in fourth position.
We'll have the deciding leg of that fantastic final coming up after the break, as well as 1/10 nitro action from Germany. It's January, it's freezing cold, and we're at the DAC 12 large-scale event that'll be on later in the series. But back in the summer, we're in Germany for Nitro touring car action. Let's take a look. The 1/10 Nitro Championships took place back in July in Ettlingen, which is in deepest, darkest Germany. We've of course seen a lot of 10th touring cars on RC racing, but these boys are the Nitro machines. Foam tyres, super quick, but not actually much faster over lap than the electric cars, and of course they do have the advantage you can refuel them. So look around as you look very different, but actually our four-wheel drive touring cars weigh a little bit more than the electrics, and of course they have all the adjustability. So after 2 days of qualifying, we saw Robert Pietsch, the 1/8 world champion on pole, from Dirk Wischnowski. Both those German guys very, very close. Eric Dankel and Emmanuel Hu were third and fourth, and Teemu Linu, the Finn, and well-known our touring car guys, he was bringing up the 5th place. And here they all are looking smiley. Off we go for the 1/10 IC European Championship final here in Ettlingen in Germany, and much it has been all weekend. It is a clean start, and leading away it's Robert Pietsch, the Mugen driver from the X-Ray of Dirk Wischnowski. Third there is Eric Dankel. Unfortunately, Eric was to hit problems during this race and didn't get even close to making the trip, but the race, the final and the event has been all about these two guys, Robert and Dirk. No one's really been on their pace at any time from the moment they unloaded the cars from the back of the trailers, or I suppose repro from the back of the estate cars. It's been Robert who's looked particularly good. Dirk seemed to have speed over a lap, and as you can see, they're very, very close going through these first couple of laps. A bit further on here we see this is about 4 minutes in, and this is as close as Dirk got in this first session. Came rust up the inside there. He was very quick through that flowing movement behind the back of the start-finish straight, but he was quick coming into there, but Robert had speed in the rest of the track. Now, of course, we look as they go past, and we're already getting through past back markers of just 3 minutes, but it's still Robert from Dirk. Now, in third place moment here was Biagio Sperato, the 9th starting Italian, who made a leap through the field, but we were soon to find this wasn't true pace, because the young man had decided to make 2 tyre stops, one every 15 minutes, compared to the other drivers who were all trying to last a bit longer. Now, tyre wear, he had 3 sets of tyres, they were all more optimised, but the tyre wear was going to cause problems in the end. I'm afraid Biagio dropped back and he lost too much time and then had some problems. But up the front, no such problems for Robert Pietsch, who was, again, well, just driving away from the field. He managed to pick up about 7 seconds lead from Dirk as he comes in now. This is the big stop. This is his stop where he actually changed tyres. So we just jump in the camera. He's now changed his tyres. It's quite a long stop. It takes about a minute to because it's not individually screwed on. It's much slower than it is with 1/8 track cars where they kind of ping off on special mounts. But anyway, here he goes round the cut. Now, at the same time, Dirk had come into the pits. We weren't quite sure what strategy they were on. They're both coming into the pits, and out they come now. And well, we thought, wow, Dirk's ahead. Dirk's made it up. But unfortunately, he'd actually lost a lap. So he's actually now virtually a lap behind Robert. Later found out he had a problem in his tyre-changing pit stop where he'd flamed out, so he had to get the car restarted and lost 4 or 5 seconds. And at this point, it was obvious that the fight was going out of Dirk and Robert. Once you get to lap, they have to let him through. Robert is the lead; he has to let him through. And unfortunately, even though Dirk probably had some quite good race pace at that point, there was nothing he could do. This is now the last pit stop for our leader, Robert Peach. He's but he controlled the lead. He was about 2/3 of a lap to a lap ahead, depending where they were on strategy. Dirk now is going to come in for his last stop. Great performance by the young German, but just at the end of the day, Robert and his Mugen were just a bit too quick for Dirk and his X-Ray, certainly at this track. But nothing to be ashamed about there for Dirk. He's putting a great performance in all weekend. Third place, Timo Lima, the X-Ray, the Finnish driver, the man who is, of course, a European electric touring car champion. He came third. He's a couple of laps back, and there he's losing a lap to our race... well, I'll tell you now, race winner, Robert Peach. But Timo had a car that had like a bag of spuds for the last 10 laps as he kind of ran out of tyres and probably did more than plastic. But luckily, he'd established enough of a lead to keep him confirmed at that bottom step of the podium. But now this is Robert Peach on his victory run. The young German adding the European Championship, his World 1/8 Championship he won earlier in the year in Miami. What a fantastic performance by Robert Peach. Fantastic weekend. And I think he's pretty pleased.
Yeah, it was super good, amazing. Big fight between Dirk and me. I think he had some problems after the first refueling, and then I pulled away a little bit, and after that I just saved my tires. And I know that he is 1 lap behind me, so I know if I can keep the distance to him, I will win the race.
So this is you're now a world champion and a European champion, different class in the same year. So 2011, good year?
Yeah, super good year. Only one title is missing, but I'm happy with 2.
So to the winner go the spoils, and the winner here in Etlingen is indeed Robert Peach. A fantastic performance all weekend. And behind it was Dirk Wyszynowski. Great battle between those two guys all weekend. Timo Lina from Finland was in third, and then we had a selection of Austrians, Frenchmen, Italians, a Norwegian, a German, but no Brits, I'm afraid.
Drop it! Yes.
And now for the concluding leg of the European two-wheel drive off-road electric championships. With your race commentary, it's John Hindhoff.
Well, as we prepare for the third and deciding round, it's only really Cragg, Bradby and, of course, Lee Martin who can win this. They could all end up, all three of them, with a first and a second, and then, well, it goes to rock, paper, scissors. But at the start of this race, as you can see, the pole man has got away, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Neil Cragg and Lee Martin had a cracking battle in the second heat, and I've got a feeling that we're going to get exactly the same again. Watch behind for the white buggy of Bradby coming through, because he was starting in 4th position and really needs to... Oh, and I think that was him off there, and that was half a lap behind the leaders. So it looks to me as though Neil Bradby has thrown away any chance of this championship very early on in this third part of the final. So the two leaders are the two drivers who could win this, and there he goes. The first man to blink has been the man on pole position, Neil Cragg, and that has left a massive advantage for Lee Martin. Lee Martin, look at this, he must have, and again it's the whoops that catches out the man at the head of the field. That time he came down short, and there was no coming back from that. I'm afraid he's a passenger. As soon as you hit the top there, the suspension just can't contract any further, and although these little machines have got really highly tuned suspension and quite a lot of travel, I'm afraid there's nothing that anyone can do. When you hit the top of the whoops like that, you are just out of control completely. Now, what does Lee Martin on the Tamiya do now? Does he cruise? Because he knows he's only got to stay ahead of the new second place, which I think is Antoine Rossetti, who's had a cracking run up. Is that the 8? Yes, it is the 8. Thank you, guys. Great camera work. Rossetti absolutely flying, literally as well as metaphorically at the moment, trying to catch the leader. Now, tactically, of course, this is brilliant news for Lee Martin, because the man behind him is not in with any kind of chance of taking the championship. So if it comes to a wheel-to-wheel battle, and at the moment, as you can see from that shot, it's not anywhere near that, but if it does, he doesn't need to win this race. He can cruise home in a minor position at the moment. There's the gap between the following buggies, who are fighting amongst themselves and not really doing themselves any favours at all. Now, is that Cragg that's come back through? Yes, it is. It's the number 1. So that means that now we really have a battle again at the head of the field. So tactically, what does the leader do now? Well, he has to shift himself back into another gear. Whilst he had another challenger behind him, he knew he was safe. Now he's got to carry on and keep that first position. Oh, how the emotions are rising and falling here in this deciding heat. Still a big gap though, isn't there? Who's coming through now? Ooh, I'm not sure. From that shot, I'm not sure whether that was Cragg or whether Rossetti had got back through again. Let's check as they come through next time around. No doubt, however, about the leader. It is Lee Martin. And now he is cruising home. Final tour of what has been a track that has raced very well indeed. He's avoiding the worst danger. Look, he's well away from the apexes, the apices of those corners. And now he's really just stroking it home. Still getting the power on. The front wheels just scrabbling across the dirt. But he's only got one corner now before the timing line. And that is a defence of the championship for Lee Martin. Well, there is the overall results, which confirm Lee Martin on the Tamiya as our EFRA European champion, with Neil Cragg holding on to second place in the championship this weekend. And Antoine Rossetti, a word about him from grid number 8, third place, the last step on the podium, and that was sealed with that third position in the final heat.
I felt absolutely amazing to be able to beat Neil when he was driving awesome, and we had a great race all week, and yes, words can't describe.
Talk us through that second final. How much pressure was on you in that one?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of pressure, but my car felt good. But Neil just drove an awesome race in front of me, and I couldn't make the pass. So I made a stupid last effort on the last straight and crashed and dropped down to third. But you know, props to him. He drove awesome that race.
Well, I'm happy I found Farmyard Machinery, and you'll be happy next month in RC Racing, because it's Vegas, baby! We're off for the 2IC at the Riviera Hotel for our special edition next month.